Hey, it's Monday, December 5th-ish, and we're going to be doing a thing called Idioms. Home children, you can find this on Canvas, or you can wait till you come back to life, but we're going to be doing a thing over all of this, so just trying to help you out. Y'all children, we're going to be using this thing here in just a moment. Let's see, we have 4 grades left, I think. This homework, quiz on Friday, semester exam Monday, final poetry quiz test next week, and that's it. Tomorrow's your reading NWEA, so make sure you bring in your iPad charged. And again, tie game is not Christmas, it would be way more specific.
Movies.
Oh, it could be. That would be more specific, I would give you that. Alright, so on page that says backside, go to side that says backside. Find top left corner in backside. Because we're going to have one that says cats and dogs, piece of cake, wrong tree. Those are the ones we're not doing yet. We're going to start up here in this area. Again, much like with almost everything in poetry, there's a good chance you've done idioms before. So hopefully you are somewhat familiar, so it should be fairly easy. It's just kind of a remindery thing. Again, not idiots. Those are what you see around you in your classes. These are idioms. And I mean, there might be some overlap in your Venn diagram, but idioms and idiots are slightly different. An idiom is going to be a phrase that has 2 meanings to it. It's a common phrase that pops up quite often. It's sort of like slang. Yes, this is the thing you get to write down to help you out. So it's a phrase with 2 meanings. Literal and figurative. And let's see, we can go with, and we'll go basic. If you guys were talking, let's say, in the middle of me teaching, Grapple keeps speaking up and talking over me because he gets so excited about learning. And I go, Grapple, if you keep talking, you're going to drive me up a wall. That has 2 meanings to it. Because when I say Grapple's talking is going to drive me up a wall, what do you know that to mean?
It's going to make you mad.
There you go. It's going to make me go insane. I'm going to have to throat punch a child. One of us is going to die by the end of class. So you can get the idea. That is called the figurative meaning. It's the common definition. What we know it to mean when I say Grapple is going to drive me up a wall. And you're like, oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. I've heard that before. Idioms are phrases that have already existed. Like you can't make up your own idiom. It has to be one that's been around that goes into it. You can't be like, Grapple, you're going to twist my apple. And you're like, oh, what is that? I'm like, I don't know. I just made that up. That's my new idiom. There is no such thing as a new idiom. Idioms just sort of get formed from people using them. But if you are new to English and you heard me saying that Grapple is going to make me drive up a wall, you'd get a little confused, like, Mr. Brovicast, you can't even fit a car in here, and why he's going to make you get in car, and you couldn't even drive up a wall if you wanted to. Crazy old man. And so that's what we're going to call the literal one. And if you felt yourself giggle a little bit, that's why it's called the funny definition. Because when you try to break it down to the literal parts, it kind of makes you go, giggle, giggle, it's all weird. And it's where you take the word for word definition of it. That's what an idiom is. 2 definitions to 1 meaning. Now we're going to beat it into you. Oh, yes, Mr. Brovicast, mentally beat me. I will. Oh. Not physically, that's wrong. But a good mental beating. What?
It's just the way you said it.
I accept that.
Yeah, if someone were to walk in, they'd
would support me and say, Mr. Brovicast, you must love those children and their education. And I would be like, yes. So now let's take a look at a couple of them. Our first one says it is raining cats and dogs. Step 1, Cookie. What are the 2 definitions of an idiom? One that starts with an F, one that starts with an L.
figurative.
You're not Cookie.
Sorry.
Just because you like cookies, that's different.
Turning into me.
Figurative and literal.
Nicely done. So you already have figurative and literal down. We're going to have you write the definitions again until you no longer have to write them down because you have them memorized. And then once it might take 1, 2, 3, 12 but eventually you're going to have it completely memorized and be good. Let's find out. Dragoo!
What?
Hi, Dragoo! Dragoo, what does figurative mean?
The common definition.
Nicely done, Dragoo. When you get to the point where you don't have to look down, that means you have it memorized and you're good. So the common definition, what we know it to mean. So, if we were supposed to have football practice, and the coach says we can't have football practice right now because it's raining cats and dogs, what is the figurative definition of that?
It's raining super hard.
Now, here's my only issue with that. What you guys all did was just embrace your globetrotteriness, which makes me feel all dirty and icky. Globetrotters, we're going to reuse nouns and verbs up there because they're weak and wussy. We are not weak and wussy. We are strong. So when you come up with your figurative and literal meanings, you cannot reuse any of those big words up there like raining, cat, or dog.
It is storming
There you go.
There we
That's
go.
why you're on the heroes team. I put large drops of water are falling from the sky. Or you could put it as storming really hard. Or you could put squish, squish, go splash, splash, go big, big.
You put pouring water.
Oh, so that works for me. As long as it's a figurative definition, I'm happy with it. Loo-hoo! What does literal mean?
The word for word like definition.
Nicely done, Loo-hoo. The word for word or the funny definition. Here's where it gets tougher and we get to watch you struggle. Because now you have to come up with a literal definition for it's raining cats and dogs without embracing your globetrotter heritage. So you can't use rain, cat, or dog to tell us what the literal definition of this would be. Gussington?
It is what's the opposite of evaporating? Precipitating.
Okay.
Canines and felines.
I would count that. Nicely done. Bryce?
Animals are falling from the sky.
Not bad. Yep.
Pets fall from clouds.
That would work too. You guys know what synonyms are? So you'll have to try to find the synonyms. So I actually like the one about the canines and felines better than just pets, because now you're giving me a synonym for both cat and dog as opposed to like a generic pet. If you did meow meows and woof woofs, that'd be great also. I went for felines and canines are dropping from the air. Or you could go clouds or spitting meow meows and woof woofs, and that would work too. But that's where it would get confusing if you were new to the English language and you were on the football team and the coach was like, it's raining cats and dogs. You're like, can I keep one? And I was like, well, no, because they're going to be all squished when they hit the ground. And you're like, oh, I can put them in a bag. And you're like, well, that gets really creepy, but Jada will, it's okay. And so that's where you sort of figure out how the similes and metaphors would work. All right, I'm going to make this disappear. Let's look at our next one. This test is a piece of cake. So we have a test coming up on Friday, well, a quiz coming up on Friday, and if Steve comes in and he's like, whatever, I got this. This test is a piece of cake. That's going to be our next idiom. I'm like, oh, is that what you think, Steve? And Steve's like, yeah. I would go, well, first off, Cookie, what are the two definitions of an idiom?
Figurative and literal.
Nicely done. And then we're going to go to Dragoo. What does figurative mean?
The common definition.
Look at that, the memorization's already worked. So when Stephen comes in and says this test is a piece of cake, what is the figurative definition of that? Not embracing your globetrotteriness.
The passage of words is extremely easy.
What was the first part?
The passage of words.
I accept that. Nicely done. I put assessment, but passage of words would work. Yes, Grapple?
Question: would quiz work instead of test?
Yes, I would count that also. Maybe big quiz, because a test is bigger than a quiz. You can call it a quiz. That's like twice as big as a quiz. Or a quiz. That's like 3 times as big. Loo-hoo! What's the definition of the other one? Literal.
So, like, funny definition.
Nicely done. The word for word. And here's where we get to see how creative you are. Smithers?
This assessment is being cut by TikTokers.
What?
What?
I am confused. This test is a piece of cake, and you put this assessment is being cut by TikTokers?
There's like this TikTok trend of people cutting everything and it's actually cake.
Oh, the cake thing.
That's not just a
Really?
TikTok trend.
Wow, that was quite the obscure reference, but now I'm with you. I apologize, I'm not up on my cake cutting TikTok references. Grapple?
The quiz is a big sponge with frosting.
I would count that. Gussie?
The series of questions is an edible celebration delight.
What big words. I just went for this quiz as a tasty frosted dessert. Same idea.
I like mine.
I do too. You definitely do not have to use mine if you have a better one.
I'll use mine.
Way to flex.
Yeah, thank you.
Now the problem with idioms is they work best when you are familiar with them because again, they're supposed to be a common thing. So when you say something like being cut by TikTokers and people are like, then the idiom falls a little flat. So we're going to try one to see if you know this idiom. You are barking up the wrong tree.
Oh, I know the one.
So how many of you guys know this idiom?
I think I do.
Yeah, so most of you don't, which is what I was aiming for. Because I was trying to find an idiom you may not know. So first off, cloudy. There are two parts of an idiom. Nicely done. And then again, what does figurative mean?
Common definition.
So with this, figurative is it only works if you've heard of this before. If not, then you have no idea what it means. If I come in and I'm like, Lena, were you on your phone when I came in the room? I'm pretty sure you're the... Lena's like, Mr. Broviak, you're barking up the wrong tree. Look at me, I'm innocent. And I'm like, all right, Lena. And that would help you hopefully figure out where it comes from. Those of you who say you've heard it before, what is the figurative meaning?
You're messing with the wrong person.
What was that, Globetrotters?
That
You're accusing the
you're
Innocent
messing with the
person.
incorrect person.
There you go. So it comes from this idea of a dog chasing like a cat and then it's like barking up a tree. And this is like poor Lena over here is like, no, I'm innocent. What are you talking about? And I'm over here yelling. And that's what you're talking about when you're like barking at the dog's barking up the wrong tree. It means you have the incorrect person. So you have made a mistake about this, or you are attacking the incorrect person, the not right, the left. Looty who? What does literal mean?
Like the funny definition.
There you go. Now we're going to see how well we can come up with synonyms for barking and tree.
You are wolfing. Wait, no.
You can't use
I like woofing.
Wolfing. And
Howling would work. Sterner.
Verbalizing. You are woofing at the wrong redwood.
That would work. I could see that. Smithers.
red wolf.
Wolfing at the country.
Oh,
I think that's closer to what I had. Wait, you're missing a word in there. You can't just say woofing at the plant.
So wolfing at pigs.
Correct. There's still a thing. So is it? Is I'm woofing at the correct plant?
Oh, incorrect.
There we go. To I went for. You are. Oh, look at that. Woofing up the incorrect tall bush. You have now been properly trained in the magical world of idioms. Sorry.
You are wolfing at the incorrect tall brown.
And oftentimes, cartoonists and people like that like to use idioms. And so I'm going to show you a little cartoon that goes along with this one. You don't have this one. You're done doing a little practice of this. Now we're just going to sort of do it in our own head. So step one, what are the two parts of an idiom?
Figurative and literal.
What does figurative mean?
The
What
common
common
definition.
Do you guys know cat have your tongue?
Yeah, kind of.
So what is the figurative?
Cat is holding.
What's that? Globetrotter, what?
You can't talk.
There you go. So I'm trying to. Actually, the cat has your tongue. And we're having trouble speaking. What does literal mean?
Word for word definition.
So now, can you figure out the literal definition for this one? And this is where it gets. Tongue is where it's tough to figure out a synonym for, so you have to be creative.
Wet red
Feline
thing.
has stolen your mouth muscle.
Not bad.
Feline
Wally?
is attacking your vocal cords.
Does the feline own your flesh? What's it called?
Arm?
No.
Oh.
Flesh appendage.
Now I understand that part. Sterner?
Does the feline have your flappy pink mouth thing?
Flappy just makes it work and disturbing at the same time. Grapple?
Okay. The furry animal has your pink mouth thing.
Calling it a mouth thing also makes it mildly disturbing. And I found a little cartoon that went along with it, where it was like
Oh
the
my
idea of
God.
going into it, where they're sort of drawing it. And the question is, if you just saw the cartoon, could you figure out what the idiom was?
Yeah.
Alright, let's find out. Because I found a whole bunch of cartoons
I take
where
my
you
no.
have to figure out what the idiom is from the picture.
We're gambling.
Alright,
It's a game show.
ready? See how well we do?
Broken heart.
Do you have a broken heart?
So I tried to start off with some easy ones first, so you have the broken heart. Done?
Chocolate milk.
Again, try to start off easy for you. Figure those who feel strong.
Chocolate and milk go
Hang on. To give people a chance, don't say anything in the first 3 seconds. We'll do like a little 3 count, because some kids might not be as good as you, and we're going to let their brains catch up. And we get a little bit tougher now. So hang on.
Scissors.
Paper cut.
Paper cut.
Paper cut. Nice. There's no scissors or a rock. But what's important is you sounded confident. It was the confidence that came across. It made me double check. I was like, is there a... No, there's not. Okay. And this one connects to school.
Fire drill.
That's just still a finger right there. Don't make me give you a finger.
toes.
Firecracker.
And what is it?
Firecracker.
Yeah.
Drill.
Fire drill.
I mean, the drill is cracked though.
Although I can see the crack, I can see the firecracker.
Exactly.
I'll roll with that one. All right. And
Old school.
Yes!
I didn't see
I
it.
love that you guys can't count.
they're on the end of my appendage. And
Old school.
I'm going old school.
okay, ready? Who would have thought thinking was so hard?
A fast food!
Fast
Fast food.
fast fries. Yeah.
You're doing a little better than first period because they would literally just yell out what they saw. House with beard and standing with cane. And I'm like, how is that an idiom? They're like, box running with things on top. I'm like, you can't just yell what you're seeing. You have to figure out what the connection is. So good job so far. All right, we're gonna get slightly
Being too
tougher.
literal.
Still fingers.
Can't see.
Play with fire!
Nice
Don't
touch.
play with fire.
You put fire.
Alright.
It's very fun.
Oh.
Musical
Rocking chair!
Rocking chair. Although I've heard musical chairs, and it's not bad, but it's supposed to be a rocking chair.
It's musical chairs, obviously.
Well,
It
there's
can
only
be.
one
I mean,
chair
it
though.
could be.
So it's not,
Musical
if there was
chair.
several of them, I would agree.
Musical chair.
Musical, we all play the game of musical chair. We all have the one chair that we all,
Well, that's what happens at the end.
Though.
You play
That's how
musical
you
chair.
play a musical chair.
Butter toast. Bread and bread
what's
and
that first
butter.
period?
Bread and butter.
Go to butter breakfast. When he's doing something.
Bread
Apparently
and
we got
butter.
something.
Butter
It is
sauce.
doing something.
Toasting.
What's it
Butter
doing?
control. Oh.
Heating.
Butter.
It looks like it's.
Flying bread.
Butterfly.
Butterfly.
Yeah. Oh.
Does that come out the
I told you they were going to get tougher as we went along.
I thought it was on fire.
That was some good.
Cause like he's got like the flame looking
more
thing.
of the toast
Okay,
as
we'll try another.
Yeah, that could be.
Told you they get tougher.
What?
Thunder
The lightning
storm.
thief.
Stole your thunder.
Stolen.
Nicely
I
done.
didn't even know that was.
Steal someone's. Now, if you've never heard of that idiom, it's really hard to come up with it.
I've heard
never
of it.
But do you guys know what "don't steal someone's thunder" means?
Yeah, don't steal the show. Don't
Yeah,
steal
it's what
the
happens in
food.
here all the time when I get ready to call on one kid and someone else yells out the answer instead, and that's stealing their thunder.
I totally didn't do that.
Thought it would fit well. All right, let's go with
Untie
Tie
shoelace.
shoes.
Tap dancing.
Untied shoelace.
You're close.
Wait. Wait, what did you say?
Not her, him.
Oh,
Tap dancing.
What?
Ballet.
Walking someone else's shoes.
So this might be the one that you've never heard of.
Walking someone untied shoelace.
So what are they doing?
Shoes.
They're dancing in their
And
shoes.
what are they?
Shoes.
So the idiom is
Dancing shoes.
dancing shoes. Is whenever you're supposed to go to like a school dance, they're like, put on your dancing shoes. Meaning
Oh,
you have to go out
that
there.
was close.
Boogie.
I think tap dancing. I was close.
Yeah.
It is fun to watch some of your expressions. It's like,
The Pixar light bulb.
Snap.
Compound word.
Compound word.
break your word.
Oh.
Ain't thinking that I break my stride.
I was thinking
Break your word,
left
somebody?
to right, not right.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
Word break you.
Oh, I know.
This one really made first period struggle.
Click
Selfie
a
stick.
stick.
What?
Selfie stick.
Selfie stick.
That's
Yeah, Chris.
What did you say? Click a stick. Click a stick.
One. I think I only have one left.
No.
Brain bubble.
Brain fart.
Brain making bubble.
A couple things.
Bubble making brain.
One, it helps if it's a phrase that you make sense to you. You're all like, hey, nice brain bubble. So you can't just say what you see up there first period.
Personal bubble.
Two,
Personal bubble.
that's not a fart if it's coming out the front.
Right.
That would be the other direction.
Personal bubble.
And this is not brain. There's another thing.
That is brain.
It is a brain, but that's not what we're going for.
Personal bubble. Oh! Wait, I don't know.
Walking brain question.
Still not a brain.
Why is it
It
like
is
carrot at the bottom of
bubble
every...
gum.
That's
Bubble
a brain.
No.
It's not
It's a
bubble.
fish. Thinking fish.
Don't pop my
Bubblehead.
Mind.
Mind blown.
Mind your own business.
That's a brain.
It looks like a
Yes.
lot of
Gum.
Mind blown. There's a
I thought you said don't say.
Yeah, it's not the word brain.
But it's a mind.
It's a
Mind
brain.
blown.
Apparently how you guys feel right now. You're like, oh. So here's what we're going to be doing for the homework.
Oh.
So turn paper over to the side that has the big blankie area on it. We're still going to do some more guessing. We're not done with that yet. But what we're going to do now is you are going to be picking an idiom that has not been up on the screen yet. So you're going to have to find one. You can't make up an idiom. You can't say, it's raining giraffes and elephants. It does not the way it works. So you're going to have to find a new idiom. Luckily, I checked this morning, and as of this morning, there were still roughly 100,000 out there. So you should have plenty to choose from. Then, once you find your idiom, this one's covered up so you can't see it yet because you're going to try and guess it in a moment. You're going to tell me your figurative definition of your idiom,
Oh.
then the literal definition of your idiom.
I
You are going to draw a picture of the figurative, and then you get to draw a picture of the literal. Yes, you can use stick figures as long as you put clothing on them. I don't want naked stick figures. That's creepy. Unless nakedness works into your idiom, and then that's also creepy. So no matter what, we should not have creepiness in your pictures. So this one says the figurative is don't tell the secret. The literal is don't let the feline escape from the sack. The idiom would be
Don't let the cat out of the
there
bag.
you go.
That's an idiom?
Yeah.
Who says that to you?
And what does that idiom mean?
thought it was
Don't tell the secret.
If someone goes into it and says that and I'm going to tell you a secret,
And
You can't do that.
If
he
you're
said.
Dragoo and someone says that, she's running around trying to find a kitten that she
no,
can
I'm
put into a
telling
little.
everybody. That's embarrassing.
What's up?
That's so
embarrassing.
We're not there yet. She might still pop up.
Oh.
And our next one. So this one says, I'm in trouble. Little guy who set the house on fire.
Oh.
This one
Oh.
says, I'm stuck in a salty soapy
I know it.
cucumber.
I'm so glad I did
We're in a
The
pickle.
idiom is,
I'm in a pickle.
I'm in a pickle.
Like a base.
So there you
Why
go.
is this
Yeah,
house
it's
like made out of Lego?
being in trouble.
I like
And there you go.
Why does this
All right.
house look like
So now you're getting the idea of how your homework's going to work.
Still
By the way, if you do well on homework, yours is up here next year. And that's how it
Yay.
goes through, and you get to be a future braggy.
I want to see a stick figure one.
This one says, stop what you're doing, as the figurative. The literal, carry your vegetarian stripeless zebra.
Stop your horse.
Hold your horses.
Your horses. They're stopping over here, carrying. Apparently, stripeless zebra is the same thing as a horse.
What?
Sure.
They just want to be based. It's also vegetarian.
How about, it cost a lot of money,
Oh,
and I paid with a calf and a forearm.
it costs an arm and a leg.
There you go. Nicely done.
That's me.
Wow.
I mean, and they're not. You don't have to be great, but that looks like
The
half
literal
man
one
head.
kind of gives it away.
And if you look at this one, I mean, if those are the bottom legs, and there's how long is that?
They seem pretty happy.
It's like a caterpillar person.
Wait, who lost their legs and arms though?
Well, obviously not her own. She obviously went and got someone else's.
Oh.
Looking at
I
yours,
understand it
the
now.
ones you've seen so far are off limits. As long as it was not up there, you're welcome to use it. To help you out, I am going to give you guys a couple examples.
I know one.
But take a look at yours. Look at your left finger. Take left finger, put it on the word directions, which is right here. Then read them! Because the reason most kids fail this is they don't read the directions.
I'm highlighting.
Where it says you have to have it in color, fill the box with your picture, all of your writing is in pen, all 3 sentences. I know, 3 sentences all have to be done in pen. The rest of it's in pencil, then you can color it in from there. And do not use one we've already done. So I'm pointing, make sure your name's on it, because I don't care if your name's in pen or pencil, that's not a sentence. And then you have your idiom choice, that should be in a sentence. Your literal definition, a sentence. Figurative definition, a sentence, and then your pictures. Wally,
Have my baby.
Can you look stuff up? Because if
Absolutely.
I try to figure stuff out, my brain's gonna explode.
we don't want that. It gets messy. By the way, good use of an idiom.
Mine just.
See? You don't realize how often you guys use idioms. So I just went ahead and took like a few of them of the 10,000 out there and put them up here. You are welcome to Google to find one, and that
Oh, I
is fine
found
with
one.
me. If you see one and don't know the figurative meaning, don't use it, because it doesn't work for you. If you get to one that says like has a green thumb and you're like, oh, I want to do that one, but I don't know what the figurative, then you can't use it if you've never heard of it before.
Means you're
So
bad to be played.
find one that you know, and then you get to use it. So this is just to get you started. You can use ones up here, you just can't use the ones we already did pictures for. If you want to Googlinate, you can Googlinate. Here's where I'm going to give you time to get started.
I got one.
Home children, same thing. My goal is after NWEA tomorrow and NWEA Thursday, get it done. It is, oh, do you know when it's due?
Friday.
Friday.
Good use of my board. It is due Friday. So my goal was to give you Tuesday and Thursday NWEA to work on it. Yes, you can get extra credit on this.
Thanks, Mr.
Yes, they are going to be hung up in the hallway for everyone to see. Yes, if you do a good job, yours gets to be the example for next year.
Thanks, Mr. Blue.
You're welcome. Yes, we are going to start right now. Home children, I'm going to go ahead and pause it.